So they took a piece out of my hip and grafted it in my nose.
Hey!
You are. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good
Nice
to
to
see you. When I first felt the nodules, I felt like like they set me off with this beautiful face and like I let them down, and now here I am again. I'm washing my face in the morning and I feel a little nodule. And I thought, okay, I'm not gonna get worked up. You know, maybe it's nothing. I waited about a week and the nodule had gotten substantially bigger.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. Now what I'm finding is like there's little ones.
Okay, and these nodules that you currently have are not getting larger anymore.
No.
Okay, that's good. The question is, what do we do? Is it as significant a procedure potentially as it was before? Because that was really significant. I remember your anatomy like it was yesterday. So I know what the inside of you looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I
know
think
it
you're
by
the
the
only
back of
guy.
your hand.
The only guy that has ever admitted to that.
I know the inside of you.
Yeah, that wasn't the best choice of words.
What causes them to keep coming back?
Part of the problem is that I had to leave some of the foreign body in there because the concern, of course, was that we would activate the granulomatous response, the inflammatory condition. Obviously, we got away with it for a period of time, but the immune system, whose job it is to do surveillance on this foreign body, decided to reactivate. What I'm hoping is if we go back in there, that whatever I left,
You can remove
I can remove.
and that'll be it.
Why don't we go in, have a look, and see how inflamed things are? And hopefully they're in a place right now where they're sort of, we can do something about it rather than having you live like this again.
So I went with her and asked her doctor about the fillers. She suggested taking fat from my abdomen to put under my eyes so it's gonna last longer. So when I woke up, I immediately knew that something was wrong.
Most likely, some of Narai's fat is attached to the muscle. And that's not a good thing, because if you damage that muscle, Narai's lower eyelids can pull down. She might not be able to blink properly or close her eyes. There's multiple risks to this, but the biggest thing of all is you're not gonna get back to where you were.
I am willing to take all the risks because I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Now, thanks to Dr. Nassif, I no longer cry when I look at the mirror.
So obviously, we know why we're here.
Yes.
We can see your nose. Can you tell us a little bit about different operations and your little bit of a, give us a story?
Sure.
Scenario of what's happening with you?
My first operation, I was 3. I was born without a bone. It's frontal nasal syndrome, and the bone didn't develop. So
Yeah.
they took a piece out of my hip and grafted it in my nose. I still experience pain from 32 years ago. My hip will have pain and throb if I walk too much. It's gonna bother me the rest of my life.
In regards to how you were feeling, how was this affecting you?
Well,
Especially going to school and your friends?
Yeah, I was teased, in school.
What'd they say?
They would tell me I had a crooked nose, and somebody would get angry, they would pick on me.
Really?
Yeah, kids can be cruel,
Yeah.
When I went to school, people would stare and be rude, and try to hurt your feelings.
Did you know that there was an issue before he was born?
No.
I never had an ultrasound.
So the first you knew of this is when he came out.
Right.
What was your reaction?
I thought it was just squashed down, that it would just pop up. When I found out that it was actually a deformity, it was scary. But to me, he was just a beautiful, healthy baby. The joy of my life.
How has it affected your life?
Oh, it's affected my life in a big way. My self-esteem, my confidence. Socially, I don't really like to meet new people. It's
Right.
hard.
So you stayed to yourself pretty much? And your family? You hang out with your family
Yeah,
yourself?
now I do, yeah. It just seems like in the last 5 years I isolated myself and been kind of lonely, and that's why I believe it's time for me to finally do this surgery.
My name is Andrea. I'm 41 years old. I'm from Texas, and my face got filleted like a fish in a car wreck. After high school, I started working at a bar, and that's where I met Michelle, which she's still one of my best friends still today. I would say that was a fun time in my life. I used to think didn't stink. We got dressed to go out one night, went out to eat. We got separated, and I was driving home. I went off to the right side of the road. My car flipped end over end 2 to 3 times, and I was found 20 feet from the car. I had shattered this cheek. I broke this one. I broke my jaw here, here, here. Split my palate in 2, detached my nose, and shattered the orbits. So they put the palate back together, and there's plates up here, and then they had to build a skull, and then they built the face. When I went home, I remember looking in the mirror. Guess I always thought it was just everything was gonna be back together. It was gonna be fun. It was gonna be back together, but it wasn't. I don't understand, why did they leave me like this? So when I went to the doctor's office, they're like, we were trying to save your life. I mean, I can't believe that they put me back together from what I saw that they had to work with. Well, when I was here and when I was here, I saw 2 of everything, and I was on medication to breathe through my nose. I didn't go in public without sunglasses. If it was nighttime, I had sunglasses on. If it was daytime, I had sunglasses on. If I'm inside anywhere, I had sunglasses on. So I was at home one day, and my friend's mom called and said, I saw on Sally Jesse, if you were in a motor vehicle accident and disfigured your face, to call. She said, you need to ask someone for help. So the next morning, I called the Sally Jesse show, and I was on the show the next Tuesday.
Gently, gently. These are friendly people, and they're gonna help you. Okay. There you go.
The show matched me with one of the best plastic surgeons in New York, and they paid for me to have my second surgery. They lifted my eye to where I saw 1 and also helped with my breathing. After that surgery, I actually felt better. I quit wearing the sunglasses. I went out and got a job. Even though I did have more confidence, I still wanted more surgery. I still wanted my nose fixed. So the 3rd surgery, the doctors actually gave me a nose. And you know what? It's really not so cute. It's too wide. It's kind of leaned over to the right, and I don't have a bridge. I want that nose that I lost 20 years ago, I mean, without the bump.
First of all, look at that scar. Is
So good.
impeccable. So here's that graft of yours right there.
Be careful, stuff will squirt out.
Avoya.
On my
Out of her
eye.
eye. The junk that comes out of her eye when she blows her nose is pretty gross. I'm gonna have to say it's just gross.
Gotta say, Andrea, that's a new one. Your nose. That graft from your bone, from your skull, is crooked. It's off to the right. So we have to remove that gently. Reconstruct your septum, whatever's there, to get it straight. Andrea's surgery is gonna be a complete overhaul. And who knows what I'm gonna find in there. It's gonna be a complete doozy. Swallow. Okay. This is called a tracheocutaneous. The simple way is an adhesion. Your breathing tube is stuck to the skin. I wouldn't mind working on that for you. I can fix that scar on her neck at the same time as I fix her nose. Are you in?
I'm in. Before my surgery, my face had been filleted in half from a car accident. After 4 reconstructive surgeries, I still wasn't real happy with my nose. It was too flat, too wide, and my nostrils weren't symmetrical. But now, thanks to Dr. Nassif, it's straighter, I have a bridge, and I have a profile. The daily reminders of my car wreck are less and less.
And I have a lot to get off my chest. I have an indentation in my left side. On the right side, I have a man. I was born and raised in California. I was actually born female. So growing up, I would steal my brother's clothes. And I would take, dolls that I had and I would cut their hair off and I would tape it to my face. That's just how much I wanted to look masculine. My parents, they would ask, do you want people to think you're a lesbian? Do you want people to think that you're a boy? And in my head, I'd say, yeah. And it was very hard. It was very hard to hear that and feel like I was disappointing them by just being who I was in high school. I really dove into theater because it's so open, and that's where I met my first gay friends, and it was just completely clear at that point, holy crap, I'm transgender. In the female-to-male transgender world, chest masculinization surgery is usually known as top surgery. I mean, I watched all of these people on YouTube, and for me, it was kind of like that extra tipping point of it's real, it's tangible. I actually found my surgeon online. I made an appointment. The surgeons originally said, it's probably gonna be 2 surgeries, but it's gonna look normal. As I was healing from the second surgery, in my opinion, it looked worse than when I started. The indentation was just extremely noticeable, and the swelling on the other side was like I had a man still. I knew I had to go in for a third surgery. The results were definitely better than before, but it was not enough. After the fourth surgery, it actually got infected and completely reversed everything that they did. I definitely wasn't happy with that. It wasn't what I spent pretty much my life savings on.
So this is the tough side, right? The dent. That is one of the hardest things to fix. Many plastic surgeons consider it actually unfixable. There's no supporting tissue behind
it's
the
completely
areola.
caved in.
Yeah. There's very little vascularized tissue to potentially rotate in, and I'm gonna have to think of something creative in order to get volume behind the areola to project it out. This is one of those procedures where you make it up when you get there. I can promise you this. I'm gonna come up with a solution.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do the best that can be done.
Before my surgery, my chest was dented on the left side and overinflated on the right. Now, after surgery, I have the pecs I always wanted. I'm finally the me on the outside that I've always been on the inside.